Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 141, July 17th, 2019. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hi, everybody.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hello, everyone.
And the XSplit killer, Michael Aston.
The slayer of XSplit.
Every week.
Pre-show broke the internet.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Tomorrow morning I get on a plane to go to San Diego. How about that?
I would say something mean about that, but that's my hometown and I love it. So have fun.
You gonna go to Comic-Con?
Maybe, might.
Well, do you already have tickets?
No.
Then you're not going to Comic-Con.
Well, but it pours out into the streets, right? So you can be around it.
I mean, you'll be around people, but not like.
Actually, my future son-in-law and me and my brother-in-law are all going to go play golf at Torrey Pines.
Oh, dude. I can't recommend that enough. Everybody should play at Torrey Pines at least once. That's a place that, as a local, would play there a lot because they have two different fee structures. You've got if you have a California driver's license, it costs one thing. If you're out of state, it costs something else. Kind of like Disney. But
we can use my brother-in-law for that.
He's got him to get them to pay it. And then Torrey Pines is a great course. If you want some other places to play, let me know and I'll give you some inside sauce.
Very cool.
Rock on. All right. Well, since we started a little behind, should we just jump right into things?
I think we should. We're going to start with the story. Discovery Networks, which have been kind of going across to all the different streaming platforms recently, is now available live on Fubo.tv, and that is a beautiful white screen.
Yeah, that doesn't look great.
I told you, we broke the internet today. Fubo is launching their 13 various channels, or they've already had several of their channels, and they're adding the rest of those channels to the Fubo TV package. It is going to be available on the system with a available for is it for an available additional cost? I don't believe so. Here it is. The Science Channel, the Destination America, Discovery Family, and others onto the Fubo Extra package for $5.99 a month for 30+ channels. So. Actually, I wanted to take a moment and look at Suppose.tv, the website that helps you decide what kind of streaming package you should look into. And for me, except for like the Disney Channel and one of my locals, Fubo has everything I need for a very inexpensive price. Yeah. Fubo should be one of those ones everybody should be looking at now.
And Fubo's been the one that ever since it started was pretty much everything I wanted. It was just missing a couple channels, and now they have them. So I think Fubo, if I was going to pay for an over-the-top service, Fubo's the one I want. And then, they are also, if you're not looking for a whole, it's not in this article, but I read the other day that Fubo is also launching a sports network.
Right. I thought they had one.
Fubo was like the thing for if it was cheap. If you don't want sports, you could you'd get Fubo TV.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, but I'm
Yeah, 'cause
thinking of a different
they
one
were
then.
cheaper because they didn't offer sports, so you didn't have to pay the extra money for like ESPN and whatnot. But now they're actually doing a separate standalone Fubo Sports Network. So yeah,
It's, the issue I have with these is simply that the prices are now getting to where you're basically paying the same price as cable on a lot of these. I mean, Fubo's $55 a month.
well it is now. It wasn't.
I mean, yeah, exactly. But they're all going up so rapidly. And, I have managed during the football season, as we all know, Boise State, I'll be paying for one of these services. But I'm not going to do this year round because the prices have gotten ridiculous again.
Mm-hmm.
I never have a hard time finding something to watch. Why would I pay $55 a month when I could pay, $15 a month or less for Netflix and switch up to Hulu, or even get both for $30 a month? It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. Their prices have gotten so high. No thanks.
And
I kind of agree with you, Mike. But the one thing I would say, at least you have the choice, right?
Yes.
To where in cable you don't have the choice, right? And that's the whole advantage, I think. Still, cord cutting is the way to go.
But
Yeah.
so I will take back what I said. I meant Philo. Fubo was the one that
what I
had
thought.
sports. Philo is the
Yeah.
one that didn't.
Yeah.
Philo
yeah.
is still, is still like $20 for 58
exactly.
channels.
Yeah.
And they have, they were only missing like Cartoon Network, I think. Was the
Right.
No,
Let me ask you.
but yeah.
Let me ask a question about Fubo. What's the fidelity of this channel, of this service? Do we know?
Good question. Since they came out at first with all the sports first, I imagine that they had some pretty good, but I'm not certain. I'd have to look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see doing $20 a month for Philo. Like I said, I'm just not going to do this except for during football season. I do agree with you though, 100%. This is still huge to have more options on each channel so that they become more and more competitive with cable. I mean, really, the thing that I want to see the most is the utility like monopoly going away. I mean, the having to have AT&T or Spectrum for my internet, only having two options, only having one option for my power and stuff like that. It's all frustrating, and the more we can do to make that kind of stuff go away, the happier I am. So
Well, and Mike, you might be happy because the Fubo TV Sports network that I was talking about is free and ad supported sports. So might be something
That's
to look
pretty
into.
awesome. So, and also, Jimmy, you were asking what kind of fidelity they give. It looks like they currently have a beta for 4K HDR that is working on many devices. It's still in beta. If you are in the beta, if a certain show wasn't 4K, it'll have a 4K little tag on the show in the guide for you to let you know that that's going to be streaming in 4K.
There you go.
Oh, excellent.
All right. Hey, guys, guess what else is in 4K again? Hulu. Looks like they went ahead and worked on getting their 4K streaming back onto on the service, and they're getting the 4K working both on the Chromecast Ultra and the new Apple TVs.
It's just one of those things. I read the story and I went, "Oh, I never realized that they weren't."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and not only just the 4K, but what I noticed too here, just within the last week, and apparently they turned all this on, very recently, is that in my setup, I've got surround sound speakers, Bose speakers. So normally I would have it at a certain level, and I'm having to turn the volume down because even the sound is a lot better on Hulu now, right? So it's so they've really beefed up the service, it seems like to me.
Right. It looks like they disabled their 4K streams last year, and so they're happy to bring them back for you.
Rock
But
on.
only specific shows.
Well, Uh-huh. And,
So-
I guess we can thank Disney for that.
They do have those large vats of cash in that Scrooge McDuck tower that they could use for these kind of things. And swimming, apparently. Air TV, you remember Air TV? That little device that was being sold at CES
Yeah.
a while ago? Air TV Mini is a new little smaller version of that device. It's a 4K Android TV stick. It's got Sling as its primary use of case for it, but it still does a lot of those other apps. It's a little dongle, so it doesn't look like it does any of the over-the-air stuff that the original Air TV was kind of aimed for.
But it does.
Oh, okay.
It
And it's
doesn't
$80.
it doesn't do it natively, but if you have a regular Air TV on your network, you can piggyback off of that. Which is,
That's cool.
when I first saw this, I went, who cares? But then I read that and went, oh. So, yeah, when the Mini finds another Air TV hooked up to an OTA antenna on the same Wi-Fi network, it's able to relay the OTA broadcast as well.
Very cool. That's smart.
And then it has 2 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of storage for DVR.
Not bad.
Excuse me.
Not bad unless you're getting that new ATSC format, which you're able to receive 4K content over the air.
Yeah, I mean, this is a solid device for a very small subset of people, I think. The idea of using over the air again just kind of appalls me. Mostly because finding a good source for the broadcast is hard for me. I can't get all of the channels at one time because I sit relatively central to 2 different towers, and so and I feel like this is a problem that a lot of people have, right? Like getting good quality on over the air is difficult, and at that point, why bother when you can get everything pretty much on the internet?
Primarily nowadays, one of the only reasons people need or want over the air is for local news. And in that scenario, it's not that big of a deal. You just position your antenna to receive the station that you would most want to get lies from, and then you get them delivered directly to your TV.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the value of local news, but I can't imagine actually watching it. So,
well, a lot of people still watch a lot of the shows that are on NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox, and those local channels. And so there are lots of people who do that. And so I have a friend. He just bought a house, and it's out in the hills somewhere, and he can't get internet. So he's getting Dish Network because that's his option, that or direct.
Yeah, but he doesn't have an option for over the air either, does he?
Yeah, he probably can get several over the air channels because they do actually where some of them do a decent job going through some of those hills. So we'll see.
A lot of times they'll put the tower on the tallest hill.
Exactly.
And then it goes everywhere. That's why you can get LA stations so far out into the desert.
Well, I just guess I live in connectivity hell. I've got no fiber.
I had that same problem.
I've got no nothing.
Well, I had that same problem at my previous house, where I could get all of the channels or I could get CBS. And that was the beginning of me saying, okay, fine, no CBS, I'll stream CBS. And then CBS said, no, you can't stream us. So then I said, okay,
that would
purged all CBS content from my life.
It would be nice if it was one. For me, it's like I have to position my antenna in 3 different places to get the full set. And it's like an even distribution in every place. So
and I have a solution for you. We can, and we'll discuss it in the post show. We should move on. Jimmy, did you have anything else to say about this? The only thing other I will say is the price is a little bit steep for this thing. It is $80.
Oh, it's not bad.
Was that the cost of it?
I mean, it's cheaper than the Air TV, which
$100.
I'm surprisingly I still see. It, but
Yeah,
in
but I
stores,
mean, this is a stick, though, right? I mean, you can get most sticks for like $30 or something,
well,
right?
but most sticks won't do what it does. But
I
but
guess
still,
so.
like I said, if you already have an Air TV in the house, then $80, big deal. It'll probably be great. If you don't already have an Air TV in the house, then I don't really see the purpose of this or the point of this, and that $80 price tag kind of makes it worse. So,
Yep.
use case.
Well, if you have the use case where you like to get your CBS from your streaming provider like Uverse or from DirecTV, I got some bad news for you. Looks like CBS and AT&T are nearing an end of one of their contracts, and they are still negotiating on their new rates between them, which basically means it's very likely CBS is going to disappear off of both the DirecTV and AT&T Uverse because contracts. The good news is, if you're really annoyed by that, pick up a month of CBS All Access.
Mm-hmm.
You have an alternative. Suddenly, I feel less upset about this.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, right? Because it depends on who you feel is at fault. If because if you just go get CBS All Access, then you're saying, CBS, I support you and I'm okay with this. If, on the other hand, you feel like there's more than one party at fault, maybe just going ahead and signing up for CBS All Access is not the right solution.
I understand, but my argument would not be, no, I don't. It's not that I support CBS's actions. This I just want to watch my show, so I'm going to spend $7 this month so I can watch my shows, even though you two big corporations,
stand against the
you
man.
two big corporations who don't really care about me.
All I know
can have your little bicker, and I'll watch my shows.
When I see these articles, it's like, oh, okay, because I've seen this over and over and over for the last 30 years.
Oh yeah,
and you know what happens?
One of
in
them
that
buckles.
Final stretch, got a couple days out, they'll come to an agreement, and nothing happens. So,
okay.
And even if they don't, it's only off for a couple days before they, it's just a game of chicken. Somebody's going to swerve. It's just a matter of who swerves first. So,
but here's a question though, right? I think you're right, Clyde. But hypothetically speaking here, let's say they didn't do that, right? Do you think DirecTV, so the question would be, if you're a DirecTV customer, are they going to lower the price since they have less content, or are they going to replace CBS with something else? And if they replace CBS, what would they replace it with?
HBO. Because they own HBO.
Yeah, it's true. If they could.
And
I guess
all the
that's
other
true.
Time Warner stuff.
Yeah, but HBO they have as a premium service. They're going to charge you more for
There's
that.
no way
right?
they'll give you HBO.
They give you a month for free. Yeah,
Well,
so
maybe.
They give out HBO like nothing. Dude, I get free HBO. From AT&T. they give it out like candy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. This is just a shouting match between the two of them, and somebody's gonna swerve and whatever.
I mean, I subscribe to CBS All Access, but then I also subscribe to Hulu. Right, that's my two main TV sources.
Yeah, I mean, this is really only gonna affect like DirecTV and DirecTV Now. I guess Uverse TV. So if you have AT&T TV of some sort, make your voice heard to the companies. That's the only way it's really gonna make any difference. Otherwise, you just kind of turn on Netflix like everybody else.
Yeah, or hey, pay a little money to Locast TV and see if you can get them to stream your stuff locally
if
for
they're
you.
in your area. Yes.
That'd be nice. I would love to see that really expand.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Mhm.
Rock on.
AMD has this new tool out. You've ever had one of your Windows machines with an NVIDIA GPU, and you decide to stream the using I believe it's called the NVIDIA. What do they call that? The GeForce streaming service that they have.
Yeah.
GeForce Now, GeForce
Now, GeForce TV, GeForce.
They have one where you can stream it, especially streaming it to some Android devices and to the NVIDIA Shield. Those of people with AMD hook type of graphics cards, like me, now have a new feature called which is called AMD Link. AMD Link has been supporting some streaming to some devices, but now it looks like it is fully supporting streaming to your Android phones. So if you wish to play your big games on your little phone and just be connected over a network, you have another way of doing that.
Yep. And it's cool to see this come out, because it's been AMD Link has been around for a while. But kind of like Steam Link, to play games.
Steam Link. That's right.
And then NVIDIA had one too. Awesome. Then you can play games and let other people in the house watch, I guess.
You can even do it to a Chromecast, which is cool. Very cool. Video games is such a fun thing. Nowadays it's been turned into this engrossing experience for lots of people to join in with. So I could totally see this being used a lot more often.
Actually, this would be cool. I get, this would be cool for Jackbox. If you've got a bunch of people in the house and you want to play Jackbox without actually going
crowding around a computer,
Twitch, or crowding around a computer. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
So Sinclair has this their own streaming service, which I didn't remember or know about, called Stir with 2 R's. Looks like it's a new service with now 12 new channels. They've just gotten on there, and they've had 1 million downloads. So they've been getting quite a few people working on getting the Sinclair networks. Now, what's interesting here is I know Sinclair from the name, but I don't remember what they really have for their kind of what they offer for TV channels. Are they like one of those local channels that own all the locals of a region or something? I'll have to look this up. Sinclair TV. I think they own a bunch of
they have. All right, I'm bringing it up. So they own. They're affiliate. They own a bunch of affiliates, is what they own. But they're the ones that also own like Antenna TV and a bunch of the like in between channels. If you're getting over the air,
right.
Justice Network and MeTV and Telemundo. So this is cool. I remember hearing about Stir, but I wasn't really interested. The fact that they've reached 1 million downloads, that's cool. And, more channels is always better. So keep up the good work, I guess.
And is this a free option, or I think it's free with ads, isn't it?
Yeah, free.
Oh, I mean, I just went to Stir's website and I just clicked on a thing and it's sending me right to live TV. So nice. It's just
in their mission statement, I think is self-explanatory in that we launched Stir with the base premise that all of the national over-the-top services were ignoring the value of local programming, and in particular, live local news. So then, so this is what Stir was for. So if you want local programming and you can't get it, check it out.
Say this. Really is good because it does address, as you were saying earlier, the ability to watch local TV, local news and stuff like that. And, they do have pretty broad availability, not certainly everywhere, but it's pretty decent amount of local coverage there.
Yeah.
You know what city they have? They have West Palm Beach.
All right.
There you go.
I was going to say they've got a lot of cities on here. If you go to their main page, it says select a city to get your local news. If you don't see your city, try Washington D.C. for the news from the capital.
Right.
They've got Austin as well, so I'm good. What about you, Clyde?
I don't see. Nope. No Minnesota.
Aw.
But I don't want my local news anyway. I cut out all local news about 7 years ago, and my life has improved significantly because I don't have people telling me why I should be angry.
Yeah.
I get to be angry for my own reasons.
I think that's a very
And that
good
makes
thing,
me
Clyde,
happy.
because
Well,
quite
Matt, you can watch Seattle news.
yeah, Como's
or
on there.
Eugene.
Isn't it
You want
Yakima
Eugene.
where you were? Central
No.
Yakima?
I wouldn't know. Where I used to live, I would get the Spokane channel, so they don't have
Mike.
Cairo. They don't have Cairo.
Mike will be happy because he can get the local news from Boise.
That's right. I can watch
Local
Boise
programming
news.
from Boise. From KBOI, K-Boy.
Boise, Austin. They got a lot of good cities in here.
Yeah. Good coverage.
Check it out.
All right.
And if you are a YouTube Premium subscriber like me, and you use their app on your phone, the YouTube app, you can have it so it will automatically download your favorite videos, like your subscription videos, so you can watch those videos when you're offline. YouTube's now started this new feature for premium subscribers, which will allow you to be able to have this offline content for whenever you're out and about. I actually could see myself using this because there are certain things like I watch almost every day or whenever they come up, and if it doesn't look well in the background, where then I just open up my app and go, oh, this is already ready for me to watch, and I'm somewhere where I have 10 minutes to waste, that could be useful.
Yeah.
I see this as great. I often watch like a podcast or two on YouTube at lunch. So that's a great thing for me because I always use I always use my cellular data. I don't use my work Wi-Fi at all. So saving a little bit of data and bandwidth on that is always good so that I'm less likely to get throttled by
Right.
Do
Verizon.
auto downloads count as if like watches do? Because if that's the case, we need everybody out there to auto download the VOD Squad.
That's right.
And I mean, even if you choose not to watch it because you already watched it, I want to know. I want to know about the metrics for downloads.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
They do count. I don't know if they're one for one, but they do count though.
I imagine what they do is they won't count as a watch if you download it and watch it, and the next time it connects, it will go ahead and upload that watch for you. So.
Yep. Yeah. And Al-Anon points out, I mean, you've been able to download videos for a while, but yes, this is an auto download. So you can
Right.
set your wish list and then it's just there.
Yeah, I mean,
now if YouTube could only figure out how to make sure that all of the shows I've marked as my watch list on YouTube TV actually show up in the DVR.
yeah.
There's
They
like
don't?
5 shows that they never show in the DVR. It will show me on the front page that there's a new episode from this show, but I have to then go search and go through my show history and find one of them was the new Sword Art Online on.
You need to file a bug report, mister.
And then also, and the worst part was none of the YouTube premiums show up in your watch list. It's like, that's the easiest one. They're your own freaking show. Yeah, but
Well, that's okay. Say like you like listening to audiobooks. And I gotta say, audiobooks are a wonderful way to spend your time. You remember when you used to go to the library and you would go ahead and you borrow a book? Did you know you could online library borrow a audiobook? And now, if you've been using Libby, one of the various apps used by libraries in order to give you access to these online books. Libby is now compatible with your Apple CarPlay. It's been compatible with Android Auto for a little while, but yes, now you can go to your online library. And did you know you can actually go to like a library online, like across the nation, and borrow a book if it's available? They've got some pretty awesome online libraries that you can use right now to get your audiobooks.
What is the penalty if you forget to return it?
There is no penalty. It times itself out, and at which point the book becomes available again for the next person. That tends to be how these online ones. And if you finish early and you're done, and you literally go into the app and say, I'm done with the book, it disappears from your phone and becomes available for the next person automatically.
See, now that I know that, I'm going to get the popular books and then just never listen to them. Let them time out.
You're being mean on purpose? I believe they limit you to only a couple few books as well. You can only check out so many.
Well, yeah. I get that. I wouldn't go in and check all of them out. Although,
there's this man.
If you were to coordinate with a realm of people,
of chatty people,
to all basically check out all the audiobooks from a library all at the same time.
The library would probably say, this is wonderful, people are using our thing, but at
they
the
don't
same time,
realize it's not wonderful.
we don't have any books to check out. And it's interesting, the licenses that the libraries use literally are, they have to buy the audiobook and then they can check it out, essentially, and have to have it be returned for people to read to borrow it again. Good news is there's no damaging the book when you return it, and there's no getting it lost. So just that.
Yeah.
Can you
but
return
still,
it?
they have to buy for it.
Find a way to return it with malware.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. How about this? If you guys know that there's a lot of talk right now about the fact that the Apollo 11 launch and the moon landing has been basically big news for its 50th anniversary this week.
Or
and,
the supposed moon landing.
Yeah, and so here we are. The CBS has decided to do a live stream. Actually, they already did the live stream of the original 1969 Apollo 11 launch broadcast, commercials and all. I know.
Lots of cigarettes, I'm guessing.
No, I didn't see the cigarettes, but I did see Bufferin is the best headache medicine. So do you remember Bufferin?
Well, now it was replaced by buffering.
Exactly.
Which is a headache creator.
Exactly. It's much worse than buffering. Buffering is much worse than buffering.
Yes.
But yeah, it's there all in its glory, and you can actually the live stream is no longer a thing, but you can now watch it just as a YouTube video of the entire event from CBS from 1969. So
yeah, I'll put a link to the actual the YouTube thing in the chat here in a second.
Yeah, one thing I'll say there, me being as old as I am, I was alive when this was going on. I think I was third grade or something like that. And I remember they took us all down to the auditorium, and they had one 20-inch television or whatever it was.
Wow.
That was holy crap.
Yeah, maybe a 20-inch television or something like that we all sat around and watched. Right, watched the Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. Right, I mean that was the big event. Right, it was like, oh hey, this is the first guy to ever be on the moon. Right, and seeing it, I mean it was just a whole thing. And I want to say it was more than one day. Right, it was like. I want to say it was 3 days in a row. We would go to the auditorium and watch what they were doing on the moon.
See where they're at. And, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Webb said he saw it on TV. So
yeah,
it must be real.
Yeah, it was a. Yeah, it was a big event. I mean, that was everybody just. What I remember that's all anybody was ever talking about. At the time. It was just hey, we made it to the moon, right? I mean, Yeah, and it come at a time, I mean, just, a couple of years before we had, MLK got shot and Bobby Kennedy got shot, right? So it come along at a time to where, that, we needed a little bit of unity there, or at least that's what I remember.
All right.
Yeah.
Rock on. Well, it's not like anybody else is going to do any space themed NASA stuff. So, it's a good thing it's on YouTube.
Well, if you're gonna talk about that kind of stuff, Hulu decided to go and add NASA's TV channel, NASA TV, to their list of live of channels. So,
Really?
yeah. It's guess what? Yeah, more space related stuff.
I watched a stream from one of the space shuttles. This would have been like 2003. It was Columbia, and everybody's talking about we're coming home tomorrow, and everybody's doing all their dancing. They're doing their spiel.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers: they didn't make it home.
Yeah.
No.
And that made it
they didn't.
really weird because it was like I was just watching those people on TV last night, and now they're all like burnt up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So yeah, space TV. Get some. When is that coming to Hulu? Is that soon or is it already?
I believe it is. Oh, it's going to be added. Actually, I don't know when it's going to be added. On July 19th, so in 2 days.
2 days. All right, I'll check it out.
Okay.
Friday the 19th. That's got to be mean something.
19 is my lucky number.
Ooh.
Mm.
All righty, is that it?
That's the end of the news. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and this is the point where we also like to thank the people that help us get through the month.
The Illuminati.
Well, we're not supposed to thank them publicly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a joke. Promise. There
Really?
is no
It was.
Illuminati. Forget you heard anything. No, I am talking about our patrons.
Oh, those guys. Yeah, they're cool too.
Yes. I'd say patrons are cooler than the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Aren't the same.
Gotcha.
Yes, because the patrons are the ones that support us every month. And we appreciate that. And to any of you out there that may be new to the show or, never really thought about it, if you find some a little bit of value in what we do, yeah, well, it doesn't matter how much. We won't snub our nose at it. And if you don't want to, perfectly fine. We'll still be here next week. Or will we? Well,
Your message, Clyde's not going to be here next week.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, we will.
Clyde's going.
I
Clyde's gonna
won't.
be gone.
I'm not going to be here next week. But yeah. On that note,
Show will go on.
We should probably check in with the Big Voice Jay.
Welcome to Team Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of July 15th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay, brought to you by Summer, that crazy little son of a beach. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Game Night's in last place with $211.1 million. Team The Von Squad's in fifth place with $340.9 million. Team Drunk Edge Gaming is in fourth place with $404.8 million. Team Ever Drink is in third place with $774.9 million. Team Retro Mysteries in second place with $903.7 million. And in first place, it's Team Movie Party with $1,250 million. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of July 17th, 2019.
So right now, my goal, I don't care how much it makes as long as it makes 250. Because if it makes 250, I will be the first person to meet or to reach 1.5 billion. I'm at one
Yeah,
and a quarter right now.
What's your last movie again?
It? Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Okay, yeah.
It's
Possibility.
only 4
It's
weeks
possible.
of it,
It
though, so I
could do
need
it. Oh, that's a stretch. It's possible.
I'm pretty
Not
sure it's
prob-
gonna hit 2.
Right.
But
I would
yeah,
See, I would have said 150 for sure. Probably 2. 250 is really pushing it.
Well, it's based on how much money in the earlier movie it made. It's not doing so bad, so it's
Yeah.
it'll fine.
well, and it's also like I mentioned before, this one, not as many people went out to see it in the theater as would have because they didn't know it was actually going to be good.
Right.
I was one of those people that was the very first movie I saw with MoviePass. Was it, and that's the only reason I saw it is because I wanted to try out MoviePass, and I went into it angry, saying, number one, why are you gonna ruin? Or you've never made a good Stephen King movie, and number two, why do you have to use that track record to destroy it? And then I walked out of there saying, holy crap, that was good. And this time around, you're going to get all the people that saw the first that want to see the rest of the story. And then you will also get the people that are bummed because they missed out and they didn't see the first one in the theater when they should have.
We'll see. I don't know if that's going to be the case.
We'll see.
I think you're going to do fine. I don't know if you're going to. I feel like you got a 50-50 chance of making 250 million. So
Yeah, exactly.
Everything important happens in the first half of the movie, anyways. Don't even worry about going to see it. Go see Hobbs and Shaw because that's going to do $1.1 billion so that we win.
Yeah, right.
If only that were true.
Look
I'm
at it this.
I'm gonna go see it.
Look at it this way.
Thanks, Clyde.
We're definitely going to hit 500 million. I think.
I think we got a pretty solid chance on that.
But at the same time, Drunk Kids Gaming, they are going to be getting The Lion King by themselves for the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have like 4 weeks of basically owning the Fast and Furious.
I think that's going to do pretty well, but I don't think it's going to do as well as what you think it is.
I hate to say it, but I think it will do about that well. Where is Aladdin's at 183 or
Aladdin's at 334.
334. So, yeah, I think it's going to do about Aladdin numbers.
Yeah, and that's the problem for you guys. That's why, they've got right now a 60 mil lead on you, and they're still making money from their other stuff, and they're going to get it probably 300, if not more, out of Lion King. So
yeah,
that's why I keep saying I think they're going to be just out of reach.
Yeah. All right. Mike, how much money do you think it will be not Mike. Next questions for Jimmy. How much money do you think will actually make The Lion King will make next week by the time we watch the show?
I would say opening week, probably about 60.
Okay. I will remember that for next week.
60, maybe I'd say 60 on 60 on the low end, maybe 100 on the high end.
Let me go on record and say 200.
That's what I was going to say.
I think it's going to do like 200 opening weekend.
I give it 120 opening weekend.
Okay.
All right.
60 to 100.
Down.
60 to 100, 120, and Clyde and I think up to 200, and Clyde's 200 hard.
And
it's a remake, right? It's not an original movie.
Successful and popular Disney movies ever made, full of fun animals and lions. People love their island lions. It's gonna be lots
great
of
songs.
Okay.
And it's a whole generation later, right? That's the thing is this is people that were brought up on this show are now going to be taking their kids, When this came out, not when I was a kid, but when I was young, I went to see this in theaters. And now my wife is going to take our kids this weekend to go see it. Probably Tuesday, not opening weekend.
That was
So,
what, 94? 93?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Because they had the kid from Home Improvement.
94.
Yeah, so it had to have been 94.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was a little too old to care because I graduated 2 years later.
yeah.
All of those Disney, what they call the Renaissance of Disney animation. I was too old to care about any of them. I think the Little Mermaid came out when I was in 6th grade, and then the rest of them, and it was just like whatever. So I don't have the attachment that a lot of people have.
And to be clear, like the worst of the live of that Renaissance era was the Cinderella remake, and it did what? It did 68 million opening weekend.
You mean the DJ for Salt and Pepper? Oh wait, that was Spinderella.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But yeah, so I mean, I just can't imagine this making less than 100 million.
And
probably
one last thing before we move on, just to drive this home, I absolutely hate, even though I don't have the affinity or the affection for this movie, I absolutely hate that they are going there and they are doing this. I think it's despicable. I think it's unnecessary. And the fact that I am so against this, it's going to do 300 opening weekend. So,
yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there. So,
Wow.
I love these. I think they're wonderful. All of them have been good. I've watched most of them with my kids, and
leave good stuff alone and come up with new ideas. That's all.
Okay, so the CNBC is predicting that Lion King will do 175 in the opening weekend.
Yep.
Well,
So
of
by
course they're going to
Wednesday,
say that because it's owned by their rival ABC, aka Disney.
And by Wednesday, so it might be 200 billion.
Billion? Holy
Billion.
crap!
No,
I was like, whoa,
billion.
200 billion.
No, that's no. If I said billion, that's what I was.
You're gonna lose, Clyde.
So, I mean, I would gladly cede my crown to someone that got 200 billion.
Yeah, whatever, you won. I got it.
I will kneel and hail you as our supreme overlord.
You now own half the money on the earth. Okay, there we go.
All right. Hey, why don't we get into some rants and some raves? All righty. Okay. Since we're on the movie topic, I'll go first. Because as we've pointed out many times, there's the rule of Clyde. Anything I love bombs. Everything I hate does amazing. I went and saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
It's currently at almost 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing really good.
You must have hated it.
I absolutely loved it.
Whoa!
Which, this is the exception that proves the rule. Because, yeah, I gotta say, with now that Marvel's involved with the Spider-Man stuff, I've never cared about Spider-Man. I don't care about most superhero comic book thing. And they have found a way to make me actually excited about Spider-Man.
Cool.
And I mean, the Into the Spider-Verse was absolutely great too. I mean, it was different and different people, and I loved it for a completely different reason. But I'm really digging. I'm digging Tom Holland, and I hated the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I got dragged. That was the first movie I saw after returning from Afghanistan. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything about it. I was hanging with my buddy in Hawaii, and he said, "Let's go to a movie. We're going to see Spider-Man." Okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw the reboot in the drive-in, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But I gave it a pass because it was in the drive-in. I was able to sleep through a lot of it.
I liked the first of the Tobey Maguire ones. I thought it was okay and it was enjoyable. The second one was bad. The third one was awful.
The second one was excellent. What are you talking about?
Um,
Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octavius. That was an excellent one.
Dr. Octogenarian?
Yes, exactly.
I guess I'm actually combining both parts of the third movie into two movies, or separating, because in the third movie he's got like 3 villains, right?
Yes, he does, and it's horrible.
Horrible. Okay, so I was thinking of those as 2 different movies, with the Hobgoblin and Sandman and Venom being separate movies.
That'd be 3. And everybody hated that one.
Okay, so I guess 2 was okay as well. So I thought 1 and 2 were pretty decent. I really hated 3. The reboot that they did again, the Amazing Spider-Mans, I didn't like those at all, but this is outstanding. I've loved both of them. I loved Spider-Man as a character and Tom Holland in all of the other Avengers-related shows, MCU shows. It's really good stuff. I'm super impressed and really happy to see them doing a good job with such a great character, because Spider-Man's a great character.
I saw it at Alamo, and it had some of the same pre-roll that they were showing before the last Spider-Man, which Homecoming, which I saw apparently. Oh no, I guess I saw Spider-Verse there.
Into the Spider-Verse that had the great pre-roll. I loved that pre-roll. It was so good.
This one had a new one, and I'm looking for it right now. It was a YouTube video by a group that was discussing the history of Spider-Man, and it was awesome. I'm trying to figure out. I don't think it was Screen Rant. I don't think it was Comic Storian. But I don't know. I'm going to have to look through, and I'll post a link someplace, because it is definitely worth watching.
Which one was it that starred William Dafoe?
1, 2, and 3.
He was in all of them.
He was in all of them. Okay.
And his voice / mirror image was, I think, in the reboot, The Amazing Spider-Man, kind of, but they didn't really do anything with it. But 1, 2, and 3.
But it was the first one when he became the villain.
First one.
Right. Yeah, okay. That was the one that I saw. I didn't see the other 2, but they didn't look all that appealing to me.
William Dafoe is a saint of awesome weirdness of his acting.
To quote the video that I'm trying to find, it featured Willem Dafoe at his Dafoeist.
Yeah. I think almost any movie that I've ever seen him in, I've always liked the movie.
Well, I mean, his name is Willem, not William. It's Willem. You can't be a normal person with the name Willem. It's not even a word.
Are you sure it's not William? It's Willem?
It is. It's Willem.
Is it sounds more like a rap star, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, Willem.
See, I always said William. I thought it was William Dafoe.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could throw this picture up there, but I'm gonna do this for the rest of the show. You guys go ahead and go with your rants and.
Well, We both got the same one, Matt. So why don't you start it off?
All right. Well, I wanted to start and say that we were looking for things to watch. We didn't know what to watch. It was like trying to decide if there's various shows that we kind of wanted to watch. We finally settled, hey, let's start Stranger Things. I think we're 3 or 4 episodes in now. It is really, really good. It's not as good as the first season, how it just basically was nonstop awesomeness all the way through. But it is a lot of fun, and I'm in particular having a lot of enjoyment watching the ah. We've been joined by William Dafoe. Hello, William Dafoe. How are you today?
Willem.
Willem, how's it going, Willem?
There we go. We put him right there in the middle.
Oh, it's excellent. But no, it doesn't have the same amount of like just gut punch as the other the first season did. It was just kind of like constantly feeding you into it. But I'm only a couple episodes in, so maybe it really is an awesome ride. But I forgot what I was going to say. It was about something anyways. But yeah, I'm having a good time with it. And William is just totally creeping me out.
That's the point.
I gotta say, I kind of get where you're coming from about it. I mean, it definitely isn't as good as season 1. I don't think that it's really possible to be as good as season 1 of Stranger Things. And the reason I say that is because anything that is Stranger Things that comes after 1 is going to follow on an expectation that we already have and an understanding of what we're about to experience. That was the amazing thing about Stranger Things is it did such a great job of getting into the time period and the characters and the setting, and that was kind of a new experience. There were 2 things about this show that set it apart. It's the way they invested in the characters and the setting and the time setting as a character in the show itself. And then the other thing was that there hadn't been a lot of shows up to that point that were basically an 8 or 9 or 10-hour movie just broken up. Right. And that's what these are. And that's what, like, it is the perfect binge show. It was, I watched it in like 2 days because my family's out of town. And so it's just me at home. I had nothing else to do. So I just turned it on and I watched it. Well, I watched like 2 episodes Friday night, and then I watched until I went to basically all day Saturday. That's all I did.
So I remember what I was going to say. The only thing I wanted to say is that I have now watched at least a couple times where the sheriff character, he's essentially going through this like period of his life where he feels like he has no control, and at least twice he's found himself in this moment, or twice, few times, or moments of where he finally feels like he is in control. Sheriff Hopper, thank you. Feel control of his life, and he doesn't care anymore, and the music gets loud, and for some reason a part of me goes, "Ah, I feel good for him," and then something bad happens. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that's so impressive about it to me is they make such good use of the music and the settings and the time period it's just so well set. Everything, and every single time they do something like a new fashion scene or a song scene or whatever, it always, it's because it's my age and stuff like that. It always, like, total nostalgia trip. I loved it. It was absolutely outstanding.
As the season wore on, I got very, very tired of, see, the 80s, hey, remember this is the 80s, but there was a couple things that were said or referenced that totally took me out of it, because I was like, that doesn't happen for 20 years. Yes, it sounds old, but it's not. That was from like the early 2000s or the late 90s. And just like, yeah.
We'll have to spoiler in time.
When you guys are done, let me know
so
when you guys
finished
are completely
Stranger
done.
Things 3 too?
What's that?
Finished this season 3?
Oh, yeah, I finished.
Okay, yeah, we can talk after. I have finished it, and like I said, I loved every minute of it.
Matt hasn't finished it though, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah, that's why I
I'm
said when
working on it.
everybody's done, we'll have to have a discussion because
And I haven't even started it yet. I'm not even
I've
through
got-
season 2.
I have concerns. All right.
All right. So was that all you had, Matt?
That's basically what my entire week has been: staying up late, trying to get some work done from home, and still falling asleep in my chair, and my cat scaring the crap out of me, and watching Stranger Things this weekend.
Yeah.
Nice. I also, again, my family was out of town, so I had time to watch some shows this week. I also watched season 1 of Westworld, which, I mean, I know I'm like 2 years behind or something. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I haven't started season 2, even though I've had time.
Just leave it. Leave it at 1.
That was my thought. I was like, it ended so perfectly.
Just leave
at
it.
the end of 1. I was like, I don't feel like I want to see anymore.
I made the mistake. I tried to watch season 2. 6 attempts to get through that first episode.
Oh,
I now think of I will never finish season 2, and I now think of a Westworld in a negative way. Whereas if I had just left it at season 1, I would have thought it was one of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah,
we
and
need to
that's
start a
kind of
movement. Watch only season 1 of Westworld. Only
Yeah.
one.
that's
Just watch
kind of
season
how
1.
I felt.
Same thing
I'm
with
glad
Legion.
that you
Same thing with
confirmed that.
Legion.
Because, yeah, I got to the end of it and I felt like it ended so nicely. It was such a good stopping point. And I was just like, I don't feel like I need to continue. I don't know that I care or even want to know what happens next because I really liked the way this ended. And I'm like, I'll let my mind fill in what comes next. That's so, yeah. Glad I heard you confirm that. I will stick with that theory. And then so since then I haven't had anything to watch. I've been watching a lot of YouTube with like Jimmy Fallon clips. I never really liked Jimmy Fallon, but
Sorry.
then I see like excerpts of like the funniest bits on YouTube, and it's usually like the things that he does with the characters, like game shows and activity type things, and it's pretty freaking hilarious. Generally, I still don't feel like I want to stay up and watch the show on TV, but I really enjoy the YouTube excerpts of the bits.
Just the bits. But if you're looking for something to watch, there are a couple shows out there, and we can talk in the post show. But
Yeah, let's talk about the post show.
there's a bunch of stuff that's out right now that's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Especially if you want to watch smarmy old Kevin Bacon on Showtime.
All right, Jimmy.
Yeah, so what I'll add to what I've been watching is slowly watching, I guess, simply because I hadn't had a lot of time, is the Designated Survivor. Yeah, I'm still watching that. I think I'm in about episodes 7 or 8, somewhere right along in there. Really enjoying that one, as Matt says, the dropping of the F-bombs and all in there. That's really something to see, especially if you watch the other 2 seasons, which were on network television now, and now it's on Netflix.
Open season, we can do what we want now.
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, they are pretty liberal with the language on that show now.
That was Designated Survivor.
Designated Survivor, yeah.
Yeah. Stick with the format that that your fans are already used to, because they already love your show enough to follow you over. Don't alienate them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I totally agree with that sentiment. And it's kind of like when Star Trek dropped the F-bomb in the Star Trek Discovery, like 4 episodes in or something like that. It was just like, why? Like, this is totally out of character for your franchise. It doesn't, like, you've managed to do 100 different shows, actually way more than that, and not have any swearing like that in it. Why do you suddenly feel like you need to do that?
Well,
And it's, 2 seasons. Why does the third season suddenly have to have,
This one, though, is I'd say a little bit different in the fact that it's not an established franchise. There is no expectation. You build make your show any way you want to begin with and build your audience from there.
Right.
Once you have an established audience, don't alienate them or run the risk of alienating them. You're not, what are you going to do? Trade them up for a better audience?
Star Trek, though, if you go back to the original season, the first run of Star Trek, Dr. McCoy, I forget what episode it was or in what season it was in that first run. Well, there was that, and they were really kind of edgy, for the time.
It was,
and Dr. McCoy, made that statement in there, Spock, are you out of your Vulcan mind? Right? So, that was. That was, and it was a play on words, right? I mean, obviously that was intended to be, swearing, right? But was legal for TV at the time, right?
Yeah.
So to hear that now in the modern, Star Trek, not so much of a stretch, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Well, but there were, 20 seasons of shows between those two that set an expectation and built an expectation.
That's what I'm saying. You've got expectation. That was one of the things that turned me off in the first episode of Stargate Universe, because I was excited for a new Stargate franchise,
right?
Because I loved the other two, and then in the very first episode, there's like 2 characters banging in a broom closet, and I went, this totally is not Stargate. Because,
I agree with that one. Like, Stargate Universe was such a departure from the other series, is that it was not the same thing.
And that's why it only made it 1 season.
Made it 2 episodes for me.
Yeah, later on streaming, early days of Netflix, I forced myself through. And I'm kind of glad I did, because they kind of realize, and made some adjustments, but it was too little, too late. But
yeah,
whatever. All right. Well, should we wrap this thing up?
Totally.
All right. Well,
hold on it.
Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're watching this video after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night. You should come join us, because this is where all the fun happens. You get to be in the chat, and you get to give us save our butts when we can't figure out names like Hopper.
No kidding.
Or you can heckle us when we can't get our seem to get our stuff together. But it's a lot of fun, and especially because you get to submit show notes or titles. That's what it is. See,
that's
you
not
get
notes.
to submit
We don't want your notes.
titles. And for those
Unless
of you
they're
that are
Patreon.
here, head on over to tvs.showbot.tv and go vote for some titles. We will discuss that in the post show. And with that, I think it's it.
Later.
All right, let's get out of here. See you guys.
Bye.
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 Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.